Hello guys, this is my first vlog, Void Exploration. Right now I am in Sector B37 of the Void. Us Void cartographers have colloquially named this the Ridge. And I have no idea where that name comes from. Don't ask me, I'm sure Goosenov can give you an answer on that. So I'm going to do a quick Q&A, and then I'm going to get to the map, and while we're walking, I'm going to talk about a short little history of this sector from what we have discovered. So if you want to skip that Q&A, I'll leave a timestamp here because I'm going to be editing this in the Void. I brought my camera to the Void. Very unorthodox, but I did it. So yeah, if you want to skip it, skip to this time. Hold on, let me get my finger in there. Yeah, that time. So, Q&A time. If you're not a pussy and you decide to stay, good job, you like learning, you're cool. So, I made some flashcards with your frequently asked questions. Hold on, I can't see this. It's too dark in the Void. Different sectors of the Void have different photon readings, and this part of the sector is actually fairly high in its photon readings for some unknown reason. The Void's physics are just wonky. They're whack. They're breaking all the known laws of physics. So I'm gonna turn on this light, see if it helps me read these better. And it doesn't. The reason I have this gas mask on is let me turn this off. The reason I have this gas mask on is because some parts of the Void are extremely radioactive, extremely toxic, or have high antimatter levels, but I took readings of this area, and it's fairly safe, so I'm just going to take this gas mask off for now. It sort of reduces visibility, and I will answer your questions.
Okay, time for the Q&A. One of the reasons I decided to do this Q&A in the first place is that on the Goosenov wiki, there is a ton of misinformation about the Void. I'm not saying all the information there is misinformation. There's a lot of good information, but since a good portion of the information on the Void is misinformation, I decided I'd do this. I have a doctorate in Void studies, so just thought I'd clear things up with you guys. Another thing I want to mention before we dive into this Q&A is a lot of you people are making SCP jokes saying like, oh, did you get inspiration from the SCP Foundation and Stalker, whatever. The Void has nothing to do with SCP, guys. Like, if you mention the SCP Foundation, I'm just gonna think you're like special child. So, with that away, it's time for our first question. What is the Void, asked by Kobe Kiss 02? Wow. This one took me 4 years of college to understand in Grandkiev. Okay. So, the Void, think of it as a corrupted version of our world, except it's much larger and it's very jumbled up. There can be a corrupted portion of China right next to a corrupted portion of Chile, right? Like, the Void has no logic. The normal laws of physics don't apply here, so you'll find things floating. You'll find things teleporting. Normal physics don't apply here. There are actually several layers of Void. The one that I study and the one that me and Goosenov refer to is the outer layer. It's the largest layer, and all the layers are big strips, I should say, of rock orbiting a black hole. So yeah, that is what the Void is. Sorry, having trouble managing the camera and flipping these note cards with your questions on them. Bread.white0 asked, are there different levels to the Void? Yeah, I sort of mentioned that. I'll go more into depth in that. Level 1, the largest and most interesting layer of the Void, is the Nexus. It's what I study, it's what Goosenov studies, it's what we both explore, and is like a corrupted version of our world. And then there's Archeon and Hades, which are underneath the Nexus, also very interesting. There's the Plane and the Dome, level 4s and 5, which have not been studied at all, really. There's level 6, which is the spikes, very uninteresting, just an asteroid belt of spikes, and these layers are all orbiting black hole XB51. So yeah, that's sort of a quick explanation. I could get more in depth, but I want this to be a quick video. At Winkle McDinkle asked, what is the void like? Well, keep watching this series and you're gonna find out. If you want a quick explanation, the void is like our planet, but since there's no sun, no photons, although I sort of touched on this earlier, there are photons that appear magically. Physics is fucked here. Next, sorry, flipping these stinking note cards. Keynes000 and Strella Vivo asked, how do you get to the void? There are two ways. The way void archaeologists, void cartographers like myself, void explorers get there is through machines that function by transporting you from Earth to a waypoint in the void. Now, a waypoint is the fabric where our Earth and the void are the closest. The fabric's weaker there. Each sector on average has 3 waypoints, and while that might sound like a lot, each sector is huge, several thousand acres. And the other way to get to the void, which is the way normal people get to the void, or not normal, I shouldn't say that because that's implying void cartographers aren't normal, but natural rifts between our world and the void do appear, but once you go through a rift, you can't get out without a machine. So humans that get sucked through rifts either die, they get corrupted by void creatures, they become nomadic raiders or void colonists slash settlers, which brings us to our next question. How much is real estate in the void? Asked by Crumpets and Teas. There's no government in the void, but void settlements sometimes ask for payment to join, and payment differs from settlement to settlement. The same person also asks, can you buy a sector of the void? No, you just can't. Next question asked by Immortal502. What is the most dangerous known creature in the void? There are honestly too many to choose from, but if we're going off of creatures native to this sector, I would have to say Blevins. They are horrific. Think of them as giant void rodents. I'll leave a picture here. Sort of in the same suit, somebody asked, what is the worst I've encountered? That's also really hard. I would have to say corruption demons, definitely. Very, very horrifying. At Hi, my actual name is Joji asked, how do I get void juice out of my clothes? This is a very good question. I have had to remove void juices from my clothing many times. Voidic ectoplasm, colloquially known as void juice, is a phospholipid, so you would treat it how you would treat any other lipid. You scrape out all the congealed solids, and then use cornstarch to get out as much as possible, and then from there you can just use a very strong soap. Yeah. It's very simple. Most people wouldn't think that, but it is. At Badger754 asks, what happens if you're in the void for too long? Really nothing. There are tribes of void raiders and certain void settlements that have been around for thousands of generations, and they are fine. I mean, the void is a very hostile environment, but if you can survive, nothing bad will happen to you. Final question at Trinum Never Forget asked, what gear do you use? I use a lot of different gear. One of my favorite pieces of gear is my trusty knife. It's a little dark, so I'm not sure if you can see that. When I am exploring, I will definitely use a flashlight so you guys can see the void, and so I can see the void. I don't want to fall off a cliff. It's a great multi-purpose tool. If I come into contact with any nasty void creatures, I can just shank them. A lot of people use, including Goosenov actually, use guns, but I actually strongly advise against this. I think it's a very rookie thing to do because guns make noise. So if you're shooting a void creature, more void creatures will come and you will eventually run out of bullets and die. Knives are reusable, and also you can use them for many other things other than being violent, like, I don't know, making twine. I always have a backpack to carry artifacts, and in that backpack I have a week's supply worth of food and water. I always keep that on me. Yeah, because I camp out here. It's not like I come here for an hour and then go back to Earth. Gas mask, flashlight, headlamp, whatever you want to call it. Always bring those. It's a necessity. And yeah, oh, very important thing I almost forgot to mention, a map, because I am a cartographer after all. Okay, that's it for the Q&A, so let's get on with exploring. So, you might be wondering, where the hell are we going? Here is my map that I made of this sector. It's very, just stepped in some void juices. Yeah, gotta use some cornstarch and soap to get that out. Eek. And void juices, like, no matter how hard you try, they always get on you, and it's a pain in the ass. So, this is my map. It's sort of hard to see because I have a blinding light, and the rest of this dimension is near pitch black. We are right here, sort of in. You know what? First, let's talk about the zones of this certain sector. We have the Long Lost Sea, which is the least interesting of the zones. It is sort of a desert land with a bunch of deserted ships, stuff like that. It is theorized that at one point it was part of Marshland Lake, which is more like a sea. And it is very hard to get into due to a dimensional force field that surrounds it. There's also the Factoryscape, which I might explore in a later video. As you can see, it's sort of... Oh god, I do not have enough hands for this. It's sort of spans from here to here, with where you see all the buildings. Christ, I need a new map. So from Abandoned Factory No 5329, which has a very interesting history, I will talk about that later, all the way up this little curve shape to Abandoned Factory No 5328. Right next to it is a tiny area that is redacted. I have no idea what is there. I've been told by fellow explorers never to go there. Yeah, I don't know what's there, and I'm not willing to risk finding out. There is also the Infinite Fields, which are pretty mild, void-wise, but there are a lot of time loops in there. There are a lot of wormholes, a lot of broken physics, and you can get trapped there forever if you stumble into a wormhole per se, or a time loop. And that's not fun. You have to be very careful in the Infinite Fields. Where we're actually going through, is Gregory's Marsh. Now, while the physics here are fairly straightforward, there are a lot of void creatures here, and it's very dangerous because of these void creatures, and so, yeah, one of the reasons I have a knife. I just hope I do not encounter any more Blevons. Ugh. Hate those things, man. We are sort of started off right on the edge of Abandoned Factory No 5329, and we are going to go up through Gregory's Marsh, can't speak, into this little area right by the water, which is actually neither Infinite Fields nor Gregory's Marsh, and there are a lot of mystical artifacts there. And the specific area we're trying to go to is, let's see if I can find it on this Rockspot. It's right next to Clearing Hill, and apparently there is a artifact of great power there. So yeah, that is where we are going. And we are going to have to go through all of Gregory's Marsh. It's probably going to be a few hours trek, so I won't show the entire thing. I will just show cool parts of the trek. Yeah, that's it for the map. Ugh. Whoa. I'm seeing right up ahead, there is what seems to be a Christmas tree, actually. This is insanely odd. You know, sometimes this signifies, I don't know what this signifies. I don't think I was paying attention during that lecture, but yeah, that is in the middle of this uninhabited marsh. That is insanely odd. Alright. So, according to my compass, it should be this way. While we are walking, I will get... Oh, wow, you can't see anything. It's so dark. Here, just gonna... There we go. Take that off my head. Is it this way or this way? I think it is this way. Yeah, history of this sector. The entire thing used to be the factory escape, actually. And then in what on Earth was, I think, the 1600s, there was a man named Gregory M. Heroin, I know, unfortunate name, who was actually sucked into this sector through a void rift from Germany. He was a Protestant priest, I believe. And would you look at this? It is a Martian ruin. Wow, I didn't even know. I thought that this entire land used to be a factory escape, but that is incredible. These Martian ruins are very rare. The last time I saw one of these was in Narrowbridge. This seems... I don't even know what the purpose of this butte was, but I'm going to have to come back and study that later. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yes. Gregory M. Heroin, he wandered the void for several years until, in this sector, in what is now the Infinite Fields, he found a void god. And the void god, he sort of became the prophet for this void god, actually. He started his own church, which is actually one of the most popular void religion for void colonists, called Heroinism. And he used his magic to create both Gregory's Marsh, which was named after him, and the Infinite Fields to protect not only his tomb, but also the powerful artifacts of his god, which is what we are trying to find. Yeah. Okay. So now that we are done with history, I am going to cut until I find something noteworthy, because this is a long expanse of nothingness. And, of course, deadly creatures. Something that I just found, unfortunately, I did not want to find this, but this, as you can see, it is a log that has been cut into sort of a cone-like shape. Now, I don't like to say it, but this is what Believons do. That means that there is a shit. Okay, I'm sure that was nothing. I'm sure that there's a few nearby, maybe an entire colony. Yeah, no, shit, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, shit, fuck. Okay. I think I've ran enough. I don't think they're here anymore. I actually just saw something that I think you guys would find interesting. This is one of the many small ponds. I believe this one to be water. They can be several liquids. But yeah, it's one of the several small ponds in Gregory's Marsh, and that is why this is called a marsh, or swamp, whatever you really want to call it. Yeah, I'll keep you guys in the loop. Okay, so these trees mean that we are probably halfway to Rockspot, and I don't know where it was, but I noticed something interesting on one of these trees. I think it was this one. Nope. Was it this one? Ah, yes, it was this one. Here, where is it? Right by my finger, as you can see. There is what seems to be a carving. Now, this is actually the mark of the Shadow Men. This means the Shadow Men were here at one point. They're probably not here, so we don't have to worry, really, but yeah. At one point, the Shadow Men were here, and that's pretty interesting. So, I found that there is I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a sort of two paths that I can take, and I am going to... I don't know, I'll take this one. Why not? Do you guys hear that? Crunching? Hello? Oh, God. Levitrons. I hope it's not them, at least. These things are nasty. And they probably could outpace me. Just gonna do a little jog. Little jog, you know? Whew. Oh, shit, dude. What is? Okay, I can't really... Seems we're at a dead end in between giant pond, but I think this is a Martian ruin. And like a really, really interesting one. Usually they're smooth and sleek, but this one, it's all rigid and so mesmerizing. And look at these. These are mini warp tunnels. Wow, I didn't even know these were... Wow, that's actually really cool. I think they've been defaced by I think that's a saying of the specific raider clan, actually. It's been defaced by a certain raider clan, but wow, this... if I had a forklift, I would take this back to Earth immediately. Wow, I mean, this is... Oh, felt super weird touching that thing. Hold up, guys, wait, do you see this? Look at this grass. Wow. This is completely different in species to the grass found in Gregory's Marsh. That means this must be a Martian teleportal column. Wow, I've only heard about these things in legend. I need to come back and study this. Like, wow. Didn't even know these things actually existed. But, about that grass, this means I am very close to Clearing Hill, which means I'm very close to Rockspot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find Rockspot, and I am going to pitch a tent. And I'm also going to see what mystical artifact awaits me there. So, yeah, let's go, guys. Okay, so this is the entrance to the grove. It is unusually dark. Oh, I thought this place would be a little more cheery. But no, I can barely see anything, even with this light on its highest setting. Wow. Oh, I mean, it's a little better with my eyes. This camera's not really picking much up. There's a lot of trees. It's very dense with trees. That can only mean one thing. We're near the artifact. Whew. Oh, more trees. It's very interesting. It's nice trees. Whew. Okay. It's a long passageway. Goodness. Hope I'm not in the infinite fields. Whew. Wow. Okay. I feel it getting closer. Can't be more than a few seconds, and I see a clearing up ahead. Ooh. Okay. I see the legendary rock, but I don't see what's on it. It's very dark. Ooh, it's the rock. And the artifact is a can of beer. That is not what I was expecting. Yep, it seems to be a regular can of beer. I'm gonna take this back to Earth and analyze it, because for all I know, it can be like an elixir of immortality inside a beer can. Who knows? Okay, I'm gonna set up camp here, pitch a tent, and I will take a little nap and get back to you guys in, well, not the morning, because there's no day and night cycle here, but I'll get back to you in the next video.